Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So according to Sky Sports, Donny van der Beek wants to make a move to the Premier League and he is awaiting offers from Premier League clubs. And I think it does mention that he is set to snub Barcelona to come to Manchester United. Now, I recently updated you about Donny van der Beek, didn't I? Because obviously, Barcelona have been trying to get him because Ronald Koeman did say before he was officially announced as Barcelona manager that he wanted to sign Donny van der Beek and it was his priority target. Now, Sky Sports also do mention that it's likely that Donny van der Beek will leave Ajax in this summer transfer window. You had Erik ten Hag, who is the Ajax boss. He said that, Donny van der Beek is expected to leave in this summer transfer window. And Edwin van der Sar, who is the CEO of Ajax, he confirmed earlier on this year that Donny van der Beek will be allowed to leave Ajax, but only for a suitable fee. But he did confirm Manchester United and Real Madrid's interest. He did say earlier on this year that Donny van der Beek had allegedly reached an agreement to go and join Real Madrid for around £47 million, but actually the player had denied this. I think it did say back in June, this is stemming from the Times, saying that we put around a £36 million bidding for him. But yeah, we'll get Donny van der Beek for under £50 million, so he is a cheap solution, much cheaper solution than Jack Grealish. Now, Donny van der Beek, up until this point, has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. I think in total he has endured 12 years with them. He joined Ajax's youth setup in 2008. He was in their youth setup for a good 7 years. And he broke into Ajax's senior squad in 2015 and since then has become an integral part of their team. He has made over 100 appearances for them in all competitions. He has got a contract with Ajax until 2022. But he's predominantly a box-to-box midfielder and he's primarily a number 6. Don't forget, Ajax have lost a few of their players in recent years. They lost Frankie de Jong to Barcelona and they also lost Matthijs de Ligt to Juventus. Donny van der Beek was key for Ajax getting to the Champions League semi-finals last season. I also believe a few years ago Ajax won the domestic double. Donny van der Beek is only the age of 24. So that is the breaking news regarding him. Now let me delve into some news on Harry Maguire. I've been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with Harry Maguire on a regular basis. So Harry Maguire has been included in the England squad by Gareth Southgate. So from Harry Maguire's perspective, he will be delighted with this. Now he's just had his trial in Greece for allegedly attacking police. And Harry Maguire's lawyer told the Greek court that Harry Maguire was kicked in the legs by police and they said that his career is over. Also, Harry Maguire had told police, "Do you know who I am?" Recently, Harry Maguire did not plead guilty to charges and reflects on that he was released from police custody. It wasn't only Harry Maguire that got arrested, also two of his other mates that had also got arrested. But he did spend a couple of nights in the Greek cells. He did actually say that Harry Maguire could pay around £90,000 to avoid going to jail for 3 years. It also mentioned that him and his pals had racked a £63,000 bar bill. Now, obviously, there's uncertainty now regarding Harry Maguire's future, and I think Solskjaer has got a big decision to make on Harry Maguire. Now, obviously, this is going to be Harry Maguire's second season at Manchester United. And, there's aspects of his game that have definitely got to improve. Last season was Harry Maguire's first season at the football club. I thought he enjoyed some good games, but he also enjoyed some bad games. Now, we did get Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club, just behind Paul Pogba, and he is the most expensive centre-half in the world. We did give Harry Maguire the captaincy, reflecting on Ashley Young's departure back in January, but I think Solskjaer has to take the captaincy of Harry Maguire, and I think he needs to give it to Bruno Fernandes. Or if he doesn't give it to Bruno Fernandes, give it to Paul Pogba, because them two players do show fantastic leadership in the team, and Harry Maguire doesn't really show any leadership. So that is the breaking news regarding Harry Maguire. Let me delve into a bit more news now on Jadon Sancho. I've spoken with you about Jadon Sancho on my recent video today. Sky Sports did say, didn't they? Now, Jadon Sancho's transfer to Manchester United could be now or never. So it means if we don't sign him in this summer transfer window, then he may never sign for Manchester United. Now, it did recently say that we have given up on Sancho in this summer transfer window, and we have abandoned our chase for him until the summer of 2021. Don't forget, one of Borussia Dortmund's directors is called Sebastian Kehl. He recently said that Jadon Sancho is happy at Dortmund, and he says he will stay at Dortmund for at least one more season. He's saying the exact same thing as what Borussia Dortmund's CEO and sporting director said, because they both said that Sancho's staying at Dortmund and the decision is final. Did recently say though that Man United and Jadon Sancho had come to an agreement on a contract. But like I've said before, throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. Because Borussia Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. They have been looking for like £90 million up front. Obviously, we're only willing to pay like £60 or £70 million up front. I said, didn't I, if we would have met Borussia Dortmund's valuation, then Sancho would have been our most expensive signing, and he would have been the most expensive British player in history. And to be honest with you, in a way, I'm surprised we're not willing to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price, because we have spent big on players in recent years, paid like £89 million for Pogba, £75 million for Lukaku, £50 million for Fred, £40 million for Matic, £80 million for Harry Maguire. I think Jadon Sancho's an exceptional player, but I just don't think he's worth what Dortmund are demanding. Isn't only the asking price now that's a stumbling block. The personal terms and the agent fee have also proven to be an issue. He did recently say that Sancho is commanding around £300,000 a week in wages. But Sancho is our number one priority target, and we first expressed our interest in him in 2017. So we have been in for him for like the last 3 years. Now, we failed to meet Borussia Dortmund's deadline because Dortmund said to us that we had until the 10th of August to sign him. Obviously didn't get him, so Sancho decided to go on pre-season with the rest of the Borussia Dortmund squad. Now, around 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was looking very, very imminent that Sancho would have been signing for Manchester United, because you had Fabrizio Romano, who is a very reliable Italian journalist. He came out and said that negotiations between Manchester United and Dortmund were at an advanced stage, and he said that Sancho had agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said he was set to sign a 5-year contract with the football club worth around 250 grand a week. And it was actually that Friday of that particular week where Sancho should have been officially a Manchester United player. But obviously, I had mentioned that talks had broken down because of Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Christian Falk, he's spoken about this transfer saga a few times. James Cooper, he tends to be close to United. He gave us a positive update on Sancho recently, and he says that Sancho still wants to come to United, and he said that Man United don't miss out on players that they intend on signing. But Sancho has said quite a few times that he'd like to come to Manchester United, and I've obviously outlined the reasons why I'd like him to come to the club, because obviously he would be the signing of the summer, he would dramatically improve us, and he has got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years with Borussia Dortmund. He really, really has, and Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Man City. I think he has still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. But I think now we have come to accept the fact that obviously Sancho's not going to be coming in. There's a lot of Man United fans now that would have fully disregarded it. So we are now obviously looking at more alternative to Sancho, because I will make an admission there is much cheaper solutions than him. We're looking at Douglas Costa from Juventus. We're looking at Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. We've been looking at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. We've looked at Robin Matondo from Schalke. We've looked at Thiago Almeida. But I'm disappointed that it's not looking likely we're going to get Sancho. We also offered Sancho the number 7 as well. We have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generation. So looking likely, Sancho's going to be the 3rd player we're going to be missing out on under the Solskjaer era. We've already missed out on 2 players under Solskjaer, and that was Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham. So that is the latest news on all of that. But like I said to you on my recent video I did earlier on today, Man United are now losing patience with the board because of our lack of transfer activity. I think the summer transfer window, has it been open now for 4 weeks or just over 4 weeks, and we have not yet made any signings, and that is a big disappointment. And I'm not even sure what our transfer budget is. I think it did say at the end of last season we have got around £140 million to spend. At the end of last season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer outlined his transfer plans, and he basically instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets. And he said he wants Manchester United to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window. And I think Woodward has said he wants Manchester United to make around 3 or 4 signings in this summer transfer window. And the worrying thing is that these teams around us that are recruiting, which some of them are rivals, aren't they? You've got Chelsea, they've done fantastic business so far. Obviously, they've got Hakim Ziyech back in February. They've got Werner from Leipzig. They've just got Ben Chilwell, I think, for 50 million. They're trying to get Kai Havertz in. They're also trying to get Thiago Silva. Chelsea could be in there with a shout this season. They really, really could. You've got Liverpool. They just recently signed Tisikmas from Olympiacos for 13 million. Now they try to get Thiago. Liverpool want to continue their dominance up. Tottenham, they recently signed Holberg from Southampton. Obviously, they got Joe Hart on a free. You got Manchester City. They've made some good signings so far. They recently got Ferran Torres from Valencia for £27 million. They got Nathan Ake from Bournemouth for £41 million. I think they also signed someone else. And Arsenal have just recently signed Gabriel Magalhaes from Lille for around £27 million. And they also got Willian on a free. But Solskjaer, he's desperate. He's desperate to make signings in this summer transfer window. He really, really is desperate. Because like I said to you on my video that I did yesterday, our summer transfer window is now in danger. But there is so many players on our agenda, and obviously Solskjaer's identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. But there's big decisions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to make at Manchester United. He hasn't only got to decide on what players he's going to bring in this summer transfer window. He's also got to decide on what players he's going to get rid of. because we're going to get rid of more players in this summer transfer window, because quite frankly, there is still deadwood at the football club. You know, we could get rid of up to 8, 9, even 10 players in this summer transfer window. Obviously, you know, we're looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. We're also looking to get rid of Andres Pereira. You know, we're looking to get rid of Smalling, Rojo, Jones, Diego Dalot. Some United fans will say we need to get rid of Eric Bay. You know, some United fans will say we even need to get rid of Victor Lindelof. But yeah. But if we get rid of players in this summer transfer window, then obviously, we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. I definitely think that Solskjaer's got to put Dean Henderson as number 1 for this season. You know, because I do believe now that Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. Because Dean Henderson did enjoy 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. You know, he actually was Sheffield United's player of the season, was Dean Henderson. But Solskjaer did recently say that Dean Henderson's not yet ready to become Man United's number 1, so he said he was looking at loaning him out again for another season. The good news is regarding Henderson that he's close to signing a 4-year contract with Man United worth around 100 grand a week. This would make him one of the highest paid goalkeepers in the world. It was only last year that Dean Henderson had signed a new deal worth around £60,000 a week. You know, David De Gea, he's been our number 1 goalkeeper for several years. You know, I think this season will be David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. So far, he's enjoyed like 9 years with the football club. And I think De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. And, you know, he's been heavily criticised. But Solskjaer said that, you know, De Gea has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. Because obviously De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club. And he has won individual awards, you know. But I said, didn't I, know when De Gea does eventually leave Manchester United, I think he'll go back to Spain. I really, really do. And if we did sell De Gea in this summer transfer window, I think we'd get £60 million for him. You know, it's still a lot more than the 18-odd million pounds that were paid for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. But when De Gea was the best in the world, he was worth around £100 million. It was only last September that David De Gea signed a 4-year deal with the club worth 375 grand a week. So De Gea is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and the highest paid at the club. Romero's obviously our backup goalkeeper. He's actually open to leaving Manchester United in this summer transfer window. Last time I read up about this Romero thing, it said that Chelsea, Everton and Leeds were interested in him. Obviously, there was a story coming out as well saying that we could offer Sergio Romero to Aston Villa as part of a swap deal of us getting Grealish. Romero has just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. You know, Romero has enjoyed around 5 years with Man United. You know, we did get Romero on a free from Sampdoria back in 2015. Last season he played all our League Cup games, and he also played all our FA Cup games prior to the semi-final, and I think he played all our Europa League games prior to the semi-final, you know, Romero. I think we probably demand around £5 or £6 million for him, you know. There's still contract decisions that Solskjaer's got to make. Have we got around 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. But to be fair, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in. The most recent player to sign a new contract, wasn't it, Brandon Williams? I think it was. Might not be, but I think it was. He signed a 4-year deal with the club. Matic, he was one of the most recent ones as well. He signed a 3-year deal. Tominway, he was one of the most recent ones. He signed a 5-year deal and that. I think, you know, there's some players we've given contracts to who we should have given contracts to, but on the other side of things, I think there's some players we've given contracts to who we shouldn't have given contracts to. But there you go. But the big test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is this season, because this season is going to be his second full season at the football club. You know, Solskjaer knows that he'll have bigger expectations to exceed this season than what he had last season. You know, our expectations this season probably will be to challenge for the Premier League title, and the other expectation will be to win a trophy, because, you know, we haven't won a major honour for over 3 years, and that's the first time that's happened in like 31 years. And you know, we have not yet won a trophy under Solskjaer, and I think Solskjaer's been at Manchester United now a good 19, or is it 19 and a half months. And there's still improvements needed at Manchester United. There really, really is. I still think there's like certain players that have got to step up to the plate. You know, Maguire's got to improve. Lindelof's got to improve. We need to see more attacking intent from Wan-Bissaka, because that's something he's lacking. You know, De Gea needs to obviously do better. You know, I think Rashford, there's still aspects of his game that I've got to improve as well. And there's aspects of our game in general that I've got to improve. I think we've got to be more clinical in front of goal. I think, you know, we need to improve on the flanks. We need to be more quicker on the flanks. I think defensively, we need to improve as well. And I think Solskjaer, he's got to improve his decision making, because a lot last season, in a lot of games, you know, he was very tactically naive. You know, there was some games though where he showed a lot of tactical flexibility. But don't get me wrong, I have seen improvements at Manchester United under Solskjaer. Really, really have. You know, we've done well in the league since January, because obviously, you know, we haven't lost in the league since January, so we are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. The good news is as well, we did go on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-finals. Certain players have improved under Solskjaer, especially the top players. They've really improved, because the likes of Martial, Pogba, Shaw, Fred, Rashford, you know, they all endured a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. But obviously Jose Mourinho's got a bad reputation with top players, hasn't he? Don't forget. You know, don't forget. So yeah, there's certain players that have definitely improved. I think Solskjaer's approach to a lot of the big games last season were also very, very good. He promoted the youth well last season. I think definitely our recruitment has improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because we have been criticised for several years, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. But there you go. But last season was obviously not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the club, and I recently gave you a review on it, didn't I? And I thought he did well in his first full season. You know, he exceeded most of his expectations. Obviously, you know, got us qualification for the Champions League, and I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players in for the financial structure. We also finished third. We progressed to 3 semi-finals, don't forget. We got to the Europa League semi-final, we got to the FA Cup semi-final, and we got to the EFL Cup semi-final. But Solskjaer did say, obviously, that semi-finals are not good enough. But the first part of last season, you know, we did enjoy our worst start ever to a Premier League season. You know, reflects on it at that point, you wouldn't have thought Solskjaer had have exceeded any expectations. And, you know, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. But this season, obviously, you know, if things don't work out under him, then I presume he will be sacked as Manchester United manager. And obviously, if this was to happen, you know, who should come in to replace him? Because I don't know if he is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. I can give you a bit more of an idea this season if he is the right manager for Man United. But, you know, so far Solskjaer spent just over £200 million at Man United. You know, obviously, you know, last summer he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. Well, he brought Odion Ighalo on loan. So it's good that we've improved in certain areas. Solskjaer's also bought a few academy players in as well. Recently brought Mark Joado in from Barcelona. We also got that Philips Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade. For around €12 million. He's going to officially join us in the summer of 2021 because obviously he will remain on loan with Partizan Belgrade for this season, will Filip Stefanovic. And I think there's a few other academy players that we have brought in. But we've got a lot of good young players coming through. I think recently Ethan Laird got promoted into the senior squad, and so too did Ethan Galbraith. So that's very, very good. And like I said, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Man United team, because the vast majority of this team is not Solskjaer's. Solskjaer is inheriting a squad that is worth £700 million. He's inheriting players either from the Jose Mourinho era. There's still a few players either from the Van Gaal era, Maguire from the David Moyes era, and there's still a few players either from the Alex Ferguson era. But actually, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. Under Mourinho, we spent around 400 million, or was it just under 400 million pounds on players? And Mourinho brought 11 players into the club. He brought the likes of, Fredin, Matic, Pogba, Delors, Lee Grant, Lindelof, Lukaku, Sanchez, Mkhitaryan, Ibrahimovic. Jose Mourinho brought a hell of a lot of players into the club. He brought Eric Bailly into the club as well, don't forget. And, maybe there's a few others as well. Obviously, Louis Van Gaal, he brought a good 16 players into the club. He brought the likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Rojo, Damian, Martial Shaw, Romero, Herrera. Louis Van Gaal brought loads of players in, and he spent just over £200 million at Man United. And David Moyes, he spent around £65 million on 2 players. He brought Marion Fellaini in and Juan Mata. So we have recruited a good 32, 33 players in since Ferguson left. So in total, in all the managerial areas, we've spent nearly £1 billion on players. And people say, reflect on the money we've spent, we should be where Liverpool are, or minimum where Manchester City are. But always spending big on players does not always guarantee you success. It really, really doesn't. And that. As you all know, we're going to be loaning a few more young players out, like I updated you recently. We're set to loan Joe Pereira out. He's going to be going out on loan with Huddersfield Town. He was out on loan with Hearts last season. We're going to be loaning James Garner out and Dylan Levitt, and I think we're also going to loan Kovar out. Don't forget, we recently loaned Tahith Chong out, so obviously he can get regular first team football and that. But for the start of the new season, we will have a fully fit squad. Our injuries at the moment are just Luke Shaw, Alex Tuanzebe and Phil Jones. Yes, they are in that. But like I said, I'm hopeful that we can win a title under Solskjaer. We are the most successful team in Premier League history at the moment. We have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. But we have not won the Premier League since 2013. So last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. In the entirety of our history so far, we've won 45 trophies. 38 of them trophies came under Ferguson. But we've only won 3 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho. So there you go. But like I mentioned before, we've been very critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years. But there's obviously explanations behind why, we have been. Woodward's been with us since 2012 and the Glazers have been with us since 2005. But I do want things to work out under Solskjaer at Man United, I really, really do. And it's very, very important that we do have a strong start to the season. The Premier League fixtures were announced recently. We have got Crystal Palace on the opening day. We were supposed to have Burnley, but obviously it got postponed due to the European games. We'd definitely win our first 2 because we've got Palace, Brighton. The first hard one's Tottenham. Within our first 7 games as well, we do play Arsenal, Chelsea and Everton and that. They're also going to be very, very tough games. But like I said, towards the end of last season we did well. Second part of last season we did well. We did better than the season before, because the season before we finished 6th. So that weren't so good. And so we finished third last season. Hopefully this season, we can, get silver on the board, maybe finish third or second. I don't think we'll win the Premier League this season. I can almost fully assure that, because obviously the likes of City and Liverpool and that are strides ahead of us at the moment. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.